In today's news, Honorable PENN updates on POCKWOOD Pond dump site. Troy Christopher shares his beliefs on the Virgin Islands' progress. Government and HLSCC to provide training for rated participants. The Department of Agriculture receives fisheries database. And, of course, a grant to improve water quality has been issued to the VI. In addition to that, IOC to reinforce Russian sanctions. And we take a look at the new PAHO director. All this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Is that my lunch? Is that my lunch?
We're like the coworker that doesn't eat your lunch.
I'm John. I'm John.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Welcome to the 103rd season of the NFL!
It's that time for the NFL playoffs every weekend with CCT Live, showing every game on CBS, NBC, ABC, and ESPN, including the Super Bowl. Sign up for CCT Live today.
There's no game like this game!
Welcome everyone, it's February 1st, 2023. Welcome to this edition of 284 News. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the latest out of the Virgin Islands as well as regionally and internationally. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, in recent weeks, officials from the Ministry of Health and Social Development met with the Recovery and Development Agency to commence the process of implementing the waste management strategy intended to resolve issues surrounding the incinerator and dump site at POCKWOOD Pond, Tortola. Minister for Health and Social Development, the Honorable Marlon A. PENN, revealed this during a recent interview.
The RDA was tasked through the Wood institution out of the UK to develop a waste management strategy.
So, question,
let me just finish.
Right,
We received the strategy, and then last week we had a meeting with RDA to start the process of implementing that strategy, which is going to deal with the issue of landfill and also going to deal with the issue of redundancy.
I'm going to follow your pens.
That's all right, man. Redundancy as it relates to incinerating, but it has to have we need to have a holistic approach to how we manage waste in this country.
Honorable PENN stressed that in addition to these efforts to remedy waste management issues, there needs to be a shift at the individual level of Virgin Islanders to manage their own waste disposal.
So look, we take up the garbage every day, but when it rains, it doesn't rain garbage. It has to be a shift in terms of our mindset, in terms of how we manage ourselves and how we are responsible and how we treat our environment.
Former president of the BVI Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Association, Mr. Troy Christopher, believes that in order to progress on the journey of true self-determination, Virgin Islanders must first consider where they are coming from, what is wanted, and whether these needs are reflected in the Constitution. At the time, he was a guest speaker on the Emoja radio show, exploring the topic of constitutional review. To set the stage, Christopher first explored what has been an intense few years in the territory. Nothing, the sequence of events, of course, from 2017, hurricanes, the COVID-19 pandemic, recovery from the pandemic. He also touched on the COI and the loss of Premier Foy. Christopher said it has understandably been a lot for Virgin Islanders to handle.
You know, people ask a lot of questions about the pandemic in terms of where it came from, where it showed up from, what we were dealing with. I don't know if all those questions have been fully answered. It seems like we've moved on from there, but we've gone into another period, which is recovery from the pandemic issues. And from our territory in particular, having to deal with COI, as well as losing our elected leader, the premier of the territory. I think it's been a lot for Virgin Islanders to digest, come to terms with. And I am seeing that reflected even in the constitutional review meetings. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Some people are still wounded, is the word I would use. It is a lot for them to navigate, a lot for them to deal with at a time.
Now, against this backdrop, Mr. Christopher said that this is the time where it is imperative that Virgin Islanders dig deep to face the perceived agenda against them as a people.
So it's a time that Virgin Islanders will have to dig deep and show a lot of strength, because you're talking about whether people have been able to put together the whole of what we're dealing with as part of a specific agenda or not. Some people have talked about whether everything could be just coincidence, whether even the pace of the constitutional review, where it's just a 3-month window with Christmas in the middle, November, December, January, and it's done, and we're supposed to review our constitution within such a short period. And people have said, this doesn't make sense.
He also noted that a key factor in this journey will be that the authorities are clear when portraying the will of the people.
I was reading a cover of the Beacon a while ago, which still talked about the threat, the order in council, the threat to suspend our constitutional rights from the UK. And then, the concept of the partnership relationship that we have in the Premier, being hopeful that we can continue to have a good relationship. I think that as a people, we have to really be very clear and honest with the words that we use and the situation that we're in. I had to do a lot of reflection to analyze whether the things that we express, whether they're true or they're just words. Because if we look at the Constitution and we look at, people keep saying that these rights that we have to self-determination, United Nations, there's a number of rights that persons and peoples are entitled to, and they're inalienable. It means that there is no possible way that they could be removed from you. Bob Marley sang it in a song, and he said, "Every man has a right to decide his own destiny."
At that point, he added, the question becomes whether or not the legal constitution reflects this will.
And so in the meetings, they're saying that we have what we call partial self-government. It means that a number of our executive powers still remains in a colonial structure where they're called reserve powers for whatever reason. And the actions of the colonial power or the governor cannot be inquired into in any court. So you're struggling with the transparency, meaning that you want to see what is taking place within your country. You want to have access to the information. And you want to have democracy, meaning that you want to have some kind of input in specific areas of your country, things that you might see that, or you may not understand what's happening that may or may not be going wrong. And so I think that we have to look at what we've written or what we accept or what we put forward in that context, whether we are fulfilling these tenets that we call good governance. Because it's one thing to say that a system is having problems. It's a next thing to explain to the public why the system is having problems.
Continuing on the local scene, the government of the Virgin Islands has announced that they will be partnering with the HLSCC Community College to implement training opportunities for participants in their rated program. The announcement was made by Premier Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Whitley, during a recent session of the House of Assembly. He revealed that things are currently developing with the initiative, with a course already set to commence in short order.
I'm pleased to announce that the first training course in the area of electrical work is ready to commence in partnership with HLSCC Community College. I encourage persons that are interested in learning the trade of an electrician to call the Premier's office and register your interest so that you can be registered to participate in the upcoming training program and to get more information.
Dr. Wheatley also appealed to both businesses and residents to provide feedback to the government on their respective areas of employment that need specialist training.
It is important for prospective employers to tell the government what their needs are and for job seekers to tell us what kinds of jobs they want and what kind of support they need to access these jobs, so that this information can be taken into consideration as we continue to grow the program and to implement further phases.
Wheatley added that his office is continuing to work on the operationalizing of all the implementation of the rated program, which will include working with partners of the government to develop the training and development component as well as the apprenticeship element of the program. Viewers, up next we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Catch Super Bowl 57 on CCT Live. Sign up today by calling 444-4444.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Catch the game on CCT Live. To sign up, go to cctbvi.com or call center at 444-4444.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Insurance. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
Viewers, welcome back. Continuing on, the successful completion of the training for fisherfolk and other key fishers stakeholders has resulted in the official handover of a central fisheries database to the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. More on this report. The successful completion of training sessions for fisherfolk and other key fisheries stakeholders has resulted in the official handover of a central fisheries database to the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. The training workshops, which consisted of 3 components, were part of the Darwin Plus funded project entitled Capacity Building in Fisheries Evidence, Networks and Management, Virgin Islands in collaboration with the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. Director Mr. Theodore James stated that the training workshops enhance skill sets and increase knowledge in the area of fisheries management, which is a key area in the Virgin Islands economy. He added that the workshops were comprehensive and aimed at effectively establishing the fisheries database and equipping officers with the requisite skills to collect, analyze, and manage fisheries data. Mr. James said, and I quote, "We are now better positioned to perform analyses on the fisheries data we collect and receive. The support provided through the Darwin Plus funding initiative and collaboration with the United Kingdom Government's Centre for Environment, Fisheries and Aquatic Culture Sciences, CFAS, on this component of the project has made significant inroads towards our goal of greater insight into fisheries within the Virgin Islands." The workshops were attended by stakeholders in fisheries, including government officials from the Premier's Office, Ministry of Natural Resources and Labor, and the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. The final training exercise was facilitated by Marine Scientific Advisor Shannon White from the United Kingdom, CFAS, and Government Information Services Analysis William Proctor. Mr. Proctor stated that the training workshops and handover was as a result of over 2 years of collaboration between CFIS and the VI government, aiming to facilitate and improve fisheries management within the Virgin Islands. The successful completion of the training sessions also resulted in the official handover of a central fisheries database by the United Kingdom's government for environment, fisheries, and aquaculture sciences to the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. Now, this data collection, storage, and analysis procedure was developed to provide a valuable understanding of fisheries data now and in the future. The facilitator explained, adding that it has been great to work with the VI government and all stakeholders, and it is good to see how this will be used within the VI, Mr. Proctor stated. The Darwin Plus funded project Capacity Building and Fisheries Evidence Networks and Management Virgin Islands aims to enhance the knowledge and capacity of the government of the Virgin Islands, staff, fisherfolk, and key fisheries stakeholders for fisheries management. The project also seeks to improve the coalition and display of fisheries data and evidence. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Labor has benefited from the RESEMBID grant valued at approximately $965,000 that will aim to improve the water quality being provided in the territory. The announcement was made by Minister for Natural Resources, the Honorable Melvin Turnbull, who confirmed that the grant came from under the European Union and their partners. Expertise France through the Overseas Countries and Territories Resilience, Sustainable Energy, and Marine Biodiversity Program.
I am sure that all of us present here today, as well as the community at large, can appreciate that when I say that we've experienced noticeable damage in recent times to our marine ecosystems, particularly in some of the reefs and coastlines, this RESEMBID project, entitled Strengthening Our Virgin Islands Water Quality Program to Inform Effective and Environmental Management of Financial Planning, could not have come at a better and more.
Minister Turnbull also provided some insight on how the project will seek to rectify a number of the existing issues that have been contributing to the water quality that is present in the territory today.
This project strives to address the constraints that exist within the current water quality program through a number of ways, which I will list, Madam Speaker. 1, the redesign of comprehensive water quality monitoring program. 2, the capacity building of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Labor staff and its implementing partners, which include the H. Laverty Stout Community College, the National Parks Trust, and the Department of Information Technology. 3, the procurement of a vessel to support the work of the environmental unit and much needed water quality testing and IT equipment, including hardware and software, to support expanded monitoring and enhanced data warehousing and analysis. And 4, establishment of water quality baselines for areas and water quality parameters of concern that are not currently covered by the existing program.
Additionally, Turnbull highlighted some of the many benefits that will derive from the project.
The products of this project will therefore benefit the environmental managers, potable water managers, decision makers within the government of the Virgin Islands, fishery managers, tourism managers, the yachting industry, and the fisher folk, Madam Speaker. This project will create a strong scientific evidence base that will further support enhanced environmental legislation, maritime spatial planning, and decision-making that will continue to be increased for the resilience of our coastal and marine waters and biodiversity.
Up next, we take a look at news across the region and on the international scene. We'll be right back.
Is someone going to get that?
Hello.
Hello. So nice of you to have cleaned up for us. Hi, baby.
We're like in-laws that don't show up unannounced.
Don't worry. I've got this.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home. Keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back, everyone. The International Olympic Committee has agreed to reinforce their sanctions against Russia and the Republic of Belarus, as well as the to solidify their support towards the Ukraine. We'll be right back. Take a look at this report.
The announcement followed a meeting with the committee's executive board on Wednesday, January 25th, to discuss the unanimous conclusions of the Olympic Summit, which was held on December 9th, 2022. The discussions were centered around 3 main areas, which included the sanctions against Russia and Belarus, solidarity towards Ukraine and its athletes, and a way forward for athletes in possession of a Russian or Belarusian passports. With regards to the sanctions, it was decided that international federations or national Olympic committees must not organize or support any international sporting events in Russia or Belarus. Likewise, their flags, anthems, colors, or any other identifications of the two countries must not be displayed at any sporting event or meeting. Finally, government officials of the two countries will not be invited to or accredited for any international sports events or meeting. As it relates to the solidarity with Ukrainian athletes and the Ukrainian Olympic community, there was a unanimous support to continue and even strengthen the full and unwavering commitment to solidarity with the Ukrainian athletes and the Ukrainian Olympic community. Well, this decision was made to ensure that Ukraine have a strong team from the NOC of Ukraine at the Olympic Games Paris 2024 and the Olympic Winter Games Milano Cortina 2026. In addition, the IOC agreed to encourage all IFs, NOCs, and sport event organizers to undertake all possible efforts to facilitate the training, preparation, and participation of Ukrainian athletes in international sports events. On the topic of the individual athletes with Russian or Belarusian passports, the vast majority of the participants in each of the consultation expressed that no athlete should be prevented from competing just because of their passport. Instead, they agreed to provide a pathway for athletes' participation in competition under strict conditions. But these conditions included athletes participating in competitions as neutral athletes and will in no way be allowed to represent their state or any other organization in Russia or Belarus. What the statement said, and I quote, "Only athletes who fully respect the Olympic Charter would participate." What this means in particular, first, only those who have not acted against the peace mission of the IOC by actively supporting the war in Ukraine could compete. Second, only athletes who fully comply with the World Anti-Doping Code and all relevant anti-doping rules and regulations would be eligible. There must be individual checks carried out for all entered athletes, end quote. Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
On February 1st, Dr. Jarbas Barbosa took office as the new director of the Pan American Health Organization. Barbosa, a national of Brazil, succeeds Dr. Carissa Ethne of Dominica. He was sworn in at a ceremony held at the Organization of American States on January 31st. Now, during his swearing-in ceremony, Barbosa pledged to work in partnership with the member states to not only end the pandemic, but to ensure that the region's health systems recover from it stronger than before. He said, and I quote, "Countries in the Americas face a complex epidemiological landscape with the stubborn persistence of communicable diseases, the risk of outbreaks and epidemics, the rise of non-communicable diseases, the damage caused by traffic accidents and violence, and the impacts of climate change," while stressing the need for strong, resilient health systems that can adequately perform all the essential public health functions in order to address significant inequalities between and within countries and ensure post-pandemic recovery and preparedness within the region. Dr. Barbosa's tenure will focus on 5 strategic pillars. They are: end the pandemic with the tools countries have at hand, including surveillance and vaccines; apply the lessons learned from the pandemic to prepare for future health emergencies; guarantee rapid and equitable access to health innovations for all countries within the region; build resilient national health systems based on primary health care; strengthen PAHO's capacity to help member states. Barbosa has promised to work tirelessly to this end and ensure that PAHO maintains all of its many achievements made to date. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. I want to thank you so much for sticking with us. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com. Of course, like us on Facebook at 284media, as well as 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I will see you again tomorrow. Do have a happy Wednesday and a beautiful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
Is that my lunch? Is that my lunch?
We're like the coworker that doesn't eat your lunch.
I'm John. I'm John.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Joss Van Dyke, not forgetting Anigada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.